Thank you for downloading the old podcast this week, Retro Gamers. Larry here. Uh-oh. Anthony's not here.
But Frank is. Sorry, Anthony. I'm here. I'm your Jay Leno.
Yes, Anthony, this week for the Retro Gamers, we're going to dedicate to Anthony because he ran the LA Marathon. He made it. Don't worry. He made it all the way. But
he's not in Cedar-Sinai Hospital.
No,
right
not
now.
at all. Not at all. But yeah, so Frank is stepping in this week.
Hello, everyone.
As he said, the Jay Leno now of the Retro Gamers.
So bad Jay Leno impression.
I'm curious who Anthony's going to get to replace me if I ever need to miss a show.
Me.
I don't know if the two of you can Skype and record it. Works for me. But yeah, so Anthony ran the marathon. Actually, his time, 5 hours and 17 minutes. I don't know. I'm going to say that's good for someone who ran his first marathon.
What was it, 5 hours?
5 hours and 17 minutes.
That was my last Chinese food buffet.
All right. There you go.
Bazinga.
Hey-yo. So, Ant recovering.
Way to go, Ant.
From a
Congratulations.
long run. Yes, congratulations, Ant. And he will be back next week on the Retro Gamers. But, again, Frank stepping in. And how you been since we last spoke?
Pretty good. Been keeping very busy. I had a vacation in between.
Very nice.
Well, a staycation. I had to watch my children, and then we got snowed in.
Yes,
So
big blizzard here in New York.
That took away a day of gaming.
Oof.
Yes.
All
I
right.
had my whole day settled. I'm going to get Chinese food to my basement and play Grand Theft Auto or hockey or any of my other games all day. And then I got stuck in with two kids.
Did you get the hockey game? Remember you talked about last time?
17, yes,
Yeah.
I did get it.
Okay. How is it?
I suck. I started on not pro. I think it was semi-pro, and I was doing fairly well by myself. I refuse to play online because I get beat up by 10-year-olds in any game. So
As we all do at some points.
Yes, I decided to do the mode where you create yourself as a character, a hockey player, and you start in the minors. You have to get drafted, and I made myself a sniper because I was doing pretty well. A sniper means you shoot goals very well.
Okay. I do have half-season tickets to the Islanders, and I had no idea what he was just talking about.
Well, that's the whole podcast. So I thought I was doing good. I was getting a couple of goals, and then I realized that not like an autosave, I had to save it after every time I shut it down, and all my progress the first time was gone. So then I started again, and I couldn't score a goal. My life depended on it, and I got drafted very badly.
Who did you get drafted to?
Nashville, and I was like the 27th pick, and I did not score a goal at all in training camp, so I shut it off and went back. Switched it to rookie, which I never do, and didn't score a goal in 2 games and shut it off, and now I'm playing Grand Theft Auto again because it's my failsafe.
You get to what you know.
Yes, I stay with what I know, and I'm getting better.
Good.
Yes.
Did you play hockey games back in the day? Like, what was your first hockey game you played?
First hockey game I played, I played on probably Commodore 64. If you asked me the names, I couldn't tell you.
Fair
It was
enough.
many years ago, but I do remember playing when the NHL, like EA Sports came out with the NHL, like 95, 96, 97.
NHLPA, I think it was back then.
Yeah, and there was
93.
There was one called Rivalries, I believe it was called, where you could play as like the 94 Rangers versus the 1980 Edmonton Oilers, so you could play people who had retired, which was something he was never able to do before.
Really? That's
cool.
cool.
I don't think the game did very well, but it might have been called Rivalries.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that was a great game. I mean, I loved hockey, and then of course, 97, 98, and I probably played a couple of years, and then I had a break, and then just started getting into it again when I got back into gaming. So.
Fair enough. Yeah, I remember. I think 93 is the one I played a lot.
93,
NHLPA
yes.
93 for Genesis.
Yes, NHLP. I remember that
That's
one.
what I
Yeah,
played.
Genesis.
Big time.
Yeah, I don't know if I own that. I believe I rented that from Blockbuster, and then I actually got the phone call from Blockbuster saying you owe us like $47 in late fees because I was like, I don't even know what that game's under my bed or something.
And they're probably like, we'll never go out of business, so you still owe us the money.
Yeah, I still actually have a video cassette from Blockbuster. I shouldn't say this on.
It's all right. I accidentally returned back to what was it called? Captain Video. Do you remember Captain Video?
I do remember Captain Video.
I accidentally returned, instead of Back to the Future Part 2, I returned my parents' wedding video. It was because it was a drop slot.
And you're not dead? Wait, did you get it back?
No, I never remember getting it back.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yes.
That's horrible. Well, there was a Video on the Bay. I guess it's kind of retro talk. Video on the Bay on Sheepshead Bay Road in Brooklyn. I rented the movie. This was an epic movie for all you people who want a good night in. Convoy with Chris Christopherson.
We got a great big convoy.
Yes, and Ernest Borgnine is the bad cop.
Was he?
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
I went and rented it. And then a couple years later, I went back and rented it again. And the guy said to me, "You were the last person who rented this 3 years ago." He goes, "You could keep it." And he gave it to me. And I have it on the box with the little, C1 on the... And I officially owned it. So that was nice.
Awesome. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Convoy. Yeah. Oh wow. Let's get back to basics here.
Okay.
But right before we started recording here, now you've been catching up on the shows.
Yes.
What episode? You haven't even listened to your own episode.
No,
yet.
I have not. I've listened to the first 12. Like I said, I was on vacation and I was pulling down full daddy duty, so I had no time to listen to any of the podcasts that I normally listen to during the day while I'm working. Mm-hmm. So I am behind, but I listen to about 12 different podcasts. So in a day during work, I could average about 4 or 5.
There you go.
5 days a week.
Yep.
I can bang through a few of them. I'm behind on a couple. Like I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast.
Good one.
900 episodes. I'm on episode 124. I think it's 2011.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those manic people that let's say, for instance, if I find a book and I read a book, mm-hmm. I now have to go back and read the author's first book.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I go through the catalog.
Gotcha.
It's my OCD issue.
Mm-hmm.
I do it with just about everything. I have problems. Like Doctor Who.
Oh, forget it. I'm not even watching Doctor Who because I'll have to watch from the beginning.
Our friend Jonathan, I asked him, I said, what Doctor Who should I start watching? Because I'll go back to the ones in the 60s. He goes,
exactly.
He goes, do not watch those. He goes, don't even bother. But I can't.
Yeah.
If I started somewhere in the middle, I will lose my mind. And I'll have to go back to see how the series evolved. That's just how I am.
That's how I did with Big Bang Theory. It was like season 4 or 5. They went syndicated. I caught the first 2 episodes. I had to, and then I had to go out and buy the first 4 seasons so I can catch up
you didn't
to the
have
live.
To go out
no,
and
I
buy.
had to because it was also a good show.
Right.
But
Penny.
Your cousin was on the show previously, not to be confused. Frankie.
Right.
He was on our episodes when we were live from Barcade.
We share the first and last name. He's Frankie. I'm Frank. Or as our cousin likes to call us, Skinny Frankie and Fat Frankie.
Well, not anymore.
Well, I'm skinnier Frankie now. So, thank you.
And I don't think he's heard your episodes yet.
No, he has.
Oh, he has?
Yes, because I got a phone call about 2 days after it aired. I got a phone call, and if you know my cousin, he'll call you or text you, and you'll write back or call back, and then you won't hear from him ever again for like at least 2 weeks. But he picked up, and he's like, "Oh, I heard your podcast." I'm like, "Oh yeah, what'd you think?" He goes, "Well, you started off a little slow, but you kind of got into a groove, and you were right." And I was like, "Thanks."
So he didn't critique me and Anthony. It was more about you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. So he knows which side of his bread is buttered.
Yeah. Well, as I will have to say, Frankie, I am sorry, but I am the first guest host. Suck it.
Frankie, we love you, Frankie. In fact, Frankie's
Frankie.
got a good thanks to Frankie. We're going to an episode down the road, top Super Nintendo games.
Oh, so, very good. I look forward to that.
That will be later on.
I'd like to maybe be here one day and making fun of Frankie as he's in this seat and I'm just off in the corner eating your big box of cashews.
Yeah, that's a lot. I bought that cashews. I thought I was going to run through that. It's just a lot of cashews. I can't really describe how many, but I've probably only had like 3 handfuls in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
And I don't know when they go bad.
I don't think they do.
Okay, good.
They're not.
I'm safe. So how many kids do you have?
I have 2.
2. All right. How is it growing up gaming? Let's call it. Let's growing up gaming. Hey. How is it? Anthony doesn't let me do these things, so I'm going to run with you.
I'm a guest.
And Frank's live with me in the Retro Gamer studio. How is it watching? Do your kids play games, video games?
Yes, they do play. Now everything's on a tablet, and the games that we grew up with, which you needed a whole system for, I could download onto my phone. They do play. My son is very big into Plants vs. Zombies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
good game.
I never played it actually until I started watching him play it because I'm hearing all these noises come from his room, and I'm like, what is it? You know, I'm like, so I looked and I'm like, okay, now I get the game. And he's like, I don't know how to do this part, and he's 4, and I don't know how to do it because I never played it. But now I'm sitting here at a diner and I'm playing, and my wife's looking at me like I have 2 idiot men in my life, but well, boys, I should say. And he's into that. He's very big into cars, like I was. Not per se car games per se, but actual Matchbox cars, Hesh trucks, stuff like that. But he does love his Kindle, which is good because when he's bad, I take his Kindle. My daughter,
Parenting 101, I love it.
My daughter is not big into the games. She's into watching like these weird YouTube videos of parents opening up toys.
My godson, exact same way. He's 6, and he watches unboxing. Actually, his brother, who's 2.5, also watches a bunch of unboxing videos.
And like she'll tell me, we'll be sitting down at dinner, and she's like, "Oh, Chloe has this," and I'm like, I don't recognize these names from her class roster. I'm like, who are these? And then Max came in. I'm like, who's Max? Their cat. I'm like, who are you talking about? And then she's like, from YouTube. And I'm like, oh Jesus. I'm like, okay, I get it now. She's living a double life. But recently, now before, I get lambasted. Recently, I've been playing Grand Theft Auto with my 4-year-old. But stop. I don't play the bad parts. I play the racing aspect of it because he likes cars.
And I'm assuming not online because you can't control that.
Well, yes, but I make sure I have one hand on the remote to mute and one hand because usually in the lobbies is when start the effing game. So basically, he is playing. I'm on Xbox One. He's playing with the Xbox 360 controller not hooked up. I'm behind him, steering and braking, and he thinks he's doing everything. But that those games are violent. I'm not going to let my 4-year-old play that. But the racing aspect he loves. He likes him jumping in the air and spinning and all that. And for me, it's great because I'm still making money for myself in the game, and my levels are going up, even though I'm not winning races because I have to look like a 4-year-old racing by crashing into things that aren't I'm supposed to. I play it off. I'm very realistic.
Have you introduced either one of them to like any sort of retro gaming or old gaming or anything like that?
Well, actually, my son plays the Wii, which I bought and he plays Mario Kart.
Good game.
Yeah, he loves it. Again, it has to do with racing. I actually am trying to get my hands on a Switch and the Nintendo Classic. I dropped the ball on that.
Oh, good luck. Well, don't blame yourself for the Classic.
Yeah, I refuse to pay anything more than retail because I'm cheap.
I know you're smart.
So I could wait. I was always that person who, waited a year to get the next big thing.
Yeah.
I could care less if I didn't have to get a day of like someone I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I literally could, when Xbox One came out, I got my Xbox One less than a year ago.
Actually, to be honest with you, I waited on all the Xboxes I waited on. It really wasn't PS4, Nintendo, as you would normally hear.
Right.
I'm a fan of Nintendo, so Nintendo I'll get day of. But the other ones I've waited on.
Right. I did get for, this is before I had kids. I actually had it in our apartment. I had the Atari 2600 plug and play.
Nice.
Which I did introduce to them, and he just had like zero desire. It was like, what am I looking at? He's only 4. Again, my daughter also no desire. She's into Barbie. She's a girly girl. and she really is not big into it. My son, though, he'll probably be a gamer just because he lives on his Kindle.
Okay.
But once he's older, obviously, there'll probably be a gaming system not in the basement, which is win-win for me. So, yeah, like I said, the Atari he really wasn't big into. Once my basement is complete and I have my old Sega set up and all those systems, set up, all of them, where the wiring is all nice and neat and clean, and again, we're recovering from a flood, so I put everything up high and boxed. So,
how's gaming with the wife?
Well,
and I like to go now. That question actually came off a little. I love your wife, absolutely love her to death. So it's not I didn't mean it in a bad connotation.
Nothing taken.
Okay.
No offense taken. It's funny because this is something I thought about talking about when the next time you guys had me on, and again, this all just came together
a little while ago. Yeah, I really
45 minutes ago.
Anthony kind of was like, me and Anthony were trying to schedule, and things weren't working out too well because I'm busy tomorrow and this thing drops on Tuesday.
And so the funny thing, I didn't really have time to do a lot of research on this, but I'll just go from my own personal experience. I always tell my wife it's my only vice, and she's not necessarily against gaming. When we first started dating and moved in together, I would literally sometimes finish eating dinner and go and go right in front of the and that bug had to be worked out. It's like hey, you gotta we're equal here. You gotta you have to help out. You have chores. And then you want to go play for a little fun. Now, married with children, different story. I don't get to play as much as I want to because it was up to me. I could do, like as I said, I've done 7 hours in front of my PlayStation 2 back in the day, when we had the apartment, and not realized I was sitting on the couch for 7 hours playing Grand Theft Auto 3. But now, for the most part, I have my man cave, and my wife goes to bed early. She works very hard. She sits in front of a computer all day, and by the time the kids are in bed and we're like, we have an hour or two to ourselves, and unless we have something going on or just not really into gaming that night, wink wink.
That's a PG show. Gosh,
yeah, well, I'm keeping it PG. Gosh darn it. I'll just go into the basement after the kids are asleep. I'm pretty hands-on father, and I'll go down there for a couple hours. And I'll come up to bed. I'm a night owl, so I'll go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be just doing my thing. It doesn't really interfere. And I always tell her, it is my only vice. I'm not at a bar drinking. She knows where I am. I'm literally 30 feet from her in the basement. I could hear everything going on upstairs. So if, one of my son is crying or whatever and at night, with the exception of, online play, you can't, I try to explain to her, you can't pause when you're online. She doesn't get it. But I'll run right upstairs or whatever. But it doesn't interfere with ours. And I said, for what I do for a living, I have a very stressful job. I can't kill people in real life.
I hope not.
It's frowned upon. So I'll leave the occasional email to her about how gaming is a stress reliever, and it does
relieve you of stress.
Well, no, yes, but no, it does help with my hand-eye coordination, and yes. I'm very, very observant. Just because when I'm playing against, Call of Duty against our friend Eric, and he goes, I could hear your footsteps.
That was
and I'm
hysterical.
Yeah, well, that's another story. But I'm like, how? And then he literally just, slashes my throat, and I'm like, where did you come from? Because now I've become more playing games like that. You have to literally have eyes behind your head, and you need a good headset. Also, I've learned. So
I invested in a good one.
Yeah, so did I. But again, I'll say that's not retro. But gaming and marriage. I mean, back in the day, gaming I think was geared more towards family.
Yes,
with the Atari, and even in the early stages, I would say Nintendo.
Totally.
Definitely kid and family orientated. Even if you look at the boxes, it was always the family around. Oh, look at this. Combat.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a certain what's the word, demographic.
Okay.
for gaming.
Certainly, yeah.
It's not towards the family. It's not towards the girls of the family, even though there are girl gamers who can kick butt.
Oh, big time.
Which is always fun to listen to online because you hear all the disgusting guys who are living in their mother's basements. Show us the, it's like, hey, how? First of all, you can't, you idiots. But again, this is not it's not retro. But the thing is, the difference between then and now. Now, there is a clique. There is a demographic. It's men mostly, and from teenagers to adult.
Mm-hmm.
I work with a guy I'm 42. He's 10 years my elder. And he plays PC games, and it's fun to think about. We are going to be the first generation of grandparents who are almost full-time gamers.
Pretty much, you're right. Yeah,
I mean, there's going to be. I know I'm not giving it up anytime soon. Mm-hmm. I have my little niche. I have my hours. When I have a day off during the week, I know the night before I could stay up a little later, because I don't have to get up early for work.
Exactly.
That I will put in an extra hour gaming.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It relieves my stress. It's. I think that's one thing when you're in a relationship with a person who's not a gamer, that you could find a balance.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And you made a really good point about being kind of the first generation to, as we get older, with gaming. Because I mean, let's go back a little bit. Yeah, my grandparents never played a video game probably a day in their lives. My parents probably played Pong when it first came out. Beyond that,
same thing with my parents.
I
Pong,
remember.
I remember my father. Sorry to interrupt you. Playing my father playing Atari, and then going, I can't be bothered.
My father played Dr. Mario.
Okay.
I mean, I would come home sometimes if he had a day off or something, or like I'd wake up. I'm like, what are you doing in my room? He's like, go back to bed. He's playing Dr. Mario on the NES. And then he, Desert Strike, War in the Gulf, because he was able to blow up people in the Gulf.
Well, you know what? But think about that. Your father's a veteran.
Yep.
That might have been some sort of, like internal stress reliever.
He was good at it too, man. It was wild because it's a helicopter game, basically.
And think of the technology now with gaming, especially with the Call of Duties and the simulation games. The government is using that,
War games.
So, but also like I said, for my big thing is, it's some people could take it to, if you're missing days of work, and you're ignoring your wife. I was reading, actually, before I left, I managed to glance in an article, and this guy was the husband and wife. It was from the husband's point of view. I'll try and get you the link so you could you could post it. But it was basically the wife said, she goes, "Are you bored?" And he puts down his game that I guess he had on a tablet, and he goes, "What do you mean am I bored?" He goes, "Are you bored? You've been playing a lot of video games lately. We haven't been doing much." And he's like, "No, I'm not bored." And he was explaining to his wife that it is a stress reliever, and that this is what he does. And I guess they needed to. I didn't get to read the whole article. I'm not gonna lie, but like I said,
so you're giving me just partial information.
This all came together. I had no show prep here,
of course.
But this it was, from what I read of the article, it was very interesting, and I will read more on it and get back to you.
And you put it on your blog.
Yes, I'll be posting this.
That's interesting. I mean, I myself, being the everlasting bachelor, probably in my life, which I'm fine with.
Lucky in some regard.
I'm self chosen at certain points and told outright at others. But I get it, because I see my friends, I see couples, even just out going to dinner. They're both on their phones, whether it's gaming,
right,
or texting or whatever, but we can relate it back to gaming. And definitely this problem wasn't an issue back then, and it has become something now. But, hopefully family gaming's coming back, hopefully. With the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo's always been about family. And with the Nintendo's Virtual Console, that's going to get updated on the Switch, like it's been on the Wii U and the Wii, I think families can show, even the NES Classic, like parents can show kids the old games of yesteryear and
absolutely
gather around the quote-unquote virtual fireplace and play games.
Right. I agree. And I think it's a new form of bonding.
Oh, sure.
Whereas when we were younger, even during, when gaming started coming out, it wasn't the only thing to do. There were board games. Yes. There were family outings. And it just seems, of course, we're in a technological world right now, and that your games were at home.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't bring your games with you. You didn't have tablets.
No.
Unfortunately, I think it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Before I had kids, I said I'm not going to be one of these parents who their kids are going to be sitting at the dinner table with, especially we'd go in restaurants and nobody at the family at the table next to us, no one was talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
The parents were on phones, the kids were on tablets, and I was like, this is not going to happen. Fast forward, my kids both have tablets. We don't at home when we eat dinner. That's a no. Everything gets shut off. We put music on. We talk about our day. When we go out to restaurants, we bring them, but we only bring them out because you don't know how long you're waiting.
Yeah,
and having young kids. And you want to go out and enjoy yourself and not have them have meltdowns. Yeah, I've given in, and they've gotten their tablets, but they keep it low. They have headsets, so as not to disturb other people. And you know what? You have to bend some of the rules a little bit.
Fair enough.
As soon as the food comes,
that's it.
Gonzo.
All right.
We did go against our own rules, but in the essence of sanity,
exactly.
You have to do it.
You think with some of these virtual consoles, it's really kind of the only, because do you have any of the old systems? Probably not, right?
The
No, not virtual, just like
I don't
NES
have Virtual Boy. You're welcome, Anthony.
Do you have like a Genesis or a Nintendo?
I do. I have Genesis. I have original Sega system.
All right. Would you break those out and show?
Absolutely. No,
Have you?
I plan. No, I haven't. I plan to. Except, like I said, my house is under construction right now with the flood. So once I have a better setup in the basement, like Anthony does.
Oh man, his setup is amazing. Mine's good.
His is amazing.
His is fantastic,
without a doubt.
Especially now he's got the Famicom,
Right.
the Japanese
and
Nintendo.
Once I start getting all the wiring sort and put together, and again, some of these systems I have to figure, and that's where you come in. You'll be coming over because I have to figure out how to put them onto a flat screen TV with the wiring. Easy. I know, I'm sure it is.
And I got two words for you: game mode. Make sure you have that on your television, on your new TVs.
Okay,
well worth it.
Well, I have a smart TV, so when the
good.
CIA is not watching me, I know they're watching me. I work for the government.
Well, lucky for you, you don't have to wait till the construction on your house is going to be done.
Okay,
because. And this is what I want to get into next, because this is definitely family oriented. It goes back to when we were kids. I don't know if you played any of these. We'll get into it in a moment. Some of the one game in particular, I cannot even believe they're re-releasing. Let's get into this. Capcom and Disney are, as of April 18th, 2017, on the PC, on the PS4, and on the Xbox One. So there you go, Xbox One. The Disney Afternoon Collection. It is 6 8-bit NES games that for, I think the going price is going to be for $20. You download 6 games, 6 retro games, and just tell me if you played, well, you didn't have an NES really growing up, but, well, they said you didn't have an NES, but tell me if you remember maybe playing any of these games. Or even the shows, because these are all fantastic shows. Darkwing Duck.
Remember the show. I don't think I played the game.
Tailspin.
Yes.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Yes.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers 2.
No.
Which I haven't played. Now, this is the game.
I was not a big fan of Chippendale.
You don't like Chippendale?
I wanted to crush them.
What?
I don't like
rodents. They were who were they? They were
rodents.
No, I'm saying they were Indiana Jones and Magnum PI.
I remember the Indiana Jones. I don't remember Magnum.
The other one was Magnum PI.
I do remember Indiana Jones.
Look up Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
I'm looking.
You have your phone right now.
I'm looking at it right now.
No, look up Chippendale.
No, I don't
Chip
want
and
that
Dale, not Chippendales. Which I still can't believe. I'm trying to figure out which one came first.
Well, that's if only we had a little machine in our hand. I punched in Chip and Dale, and the second thing is Chippendales. Chip and Dale dancers. Wow. Okay. Images.
So, all right. So, and the last 2 games to round out this collection of 6, right?
Sorry. Here it is.
All right, Magnum PI.
Oh God.
DuckTales and DuckTales 2.
I love DuckTales. I remember the game. I played it. I don't remember, I can't, if you ask me specifically, but the show, I watched religiously.
You know they're bringing it back, right?
I heard.
Did you see the trailer?
I did not see the trailer.
Don't watch the trailer. You won't be happy with it.
Is it this?
No. God, no. Oh, that's
Dale
interesting.
and Gadget cartoon. They look like people. Don't watch the trailer.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. But I love DuckTales. Ooh.
Exactly, right? Remember the movie? Treasure of the Lost Land?
And it was Scrooge McDuck. I love the whole
forget about it. The reason I'm saying this is because for $20, you can get 8-bit DuckTales. Now, DuckTales has been remastered a few years ago, and it came out...
all Disney games.
6 Disney games, because it was the Disney afternoon.
And this is downloadable on Xbox One.
Xbox One, PS4, Windows, April 18th.
This year.
Yes.
Sweet.
Not only do you get the 6 original 8-bit versions of the game, they have some new gameplays to them, time attack mode, boss rush modes, online leaderboards, and then a part here that I like this, ability to rewind game time to correct mistakes. So if you're bouncing around in DuckTales on the pogo stick and you accidentally jump too far, you fall down the hole, just hit a button, you rewind back, and you do it again.
I'm conflicted on that.
But it's good for the kids.
It's good for the kids, but it's all...
You also got to teach them a lesson.
Exactly. We didn't have that.
Not at all.
I didn't have any... When I'm playing Wonder Boy on Sega, I didn't have a pause button or a save button.
Yeah, right?
Good callback.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you played until you died, and then you started over from the beginning again. There's too many... We're coddling these children way too much.
But for $20, you got to add something to it.
But for $20, these kids need to learn that when you lose, you die.
That is true. If he dies, he dies.
There's no reset button in life.
Digital Eclipse is developing it, and of course, it's going to have concept art, music, additional assets created for the original games, yada yada yada. I just can't believe, because DuckTales is one of the best games ever. Period. In my opinion, DuckTales 2 is one of the most sought out NES games that you cannot find. You can probably get an original DuckTales 2 in box for NES. For anything under $200, I would be shocked at.
Now, is that because A, was it terrible, and B, they did not make a lot of them?
I think just a rarity. It was a good game. I never played it, I'll be honest with you. That's why I'm excited. I never played that or Rescue Rangers 2.
The good thing is, it is now almost the end of March. Yard sale season is coming.
There you go.
And there are a lot of stupid people here on Long Island.
You know what? I'm gonna go off here for a moment. You mentioned the yard sales. We're gonna go out one day or a couple times. We're gonna go yard sale shopping.
Absolutely, I do it all the time.
Because now that I can bring this thing portably, forget about it.
Oh boy, this is like American Pickers. I love it.
And I'm sure there is a game. I think it's on YouTube. Not a game, a gaming show. I think that does that. I think it's on YouTube where they go around trying to find video games in a yard sale.
I would not be surprised.
So yeah, Disney Afternoon Collection. I'm excited to play DuckTales 2, and I'm excited because I've been playing the remastered DuckTales, which is fun. Don't get me wrong, but of course, OG DuckTales. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, that's
and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
I'm looking forward to the. I think honestly, more not looking forward to the game as much as I am the show. But now you're telling me not to look at the. See, you told me that. Now I'm going to have to look at.
No,
the
I know you're going to watch the trail,
and I'm going to be disappointed.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie, they sound like regular boys. They don't have that inflection in their voice.
No, that's the whole part. See, this is what. Okay.
And I think Scrooge McDuck is broke.
He's like poor.
I think. I don't know.
How'd that happen?
I don't know because they show a scene of inside
an empty room. No,
almost, but it's not as high. It's like very low.
The
money's very low. Probably he got in the market crash. Yeah.
Glum Gold. What was the name of the pilot?
We're going to talk about that in a moment because for this week's retro spotlight,
okay,
we're going to talk about DuckTales.
I love you.
Not Glum Gold.
No. The pilot's name was Ace
oh my gosh, why am I forgetting right now? All of a sudden,
Glumgold was his enemy.
Yes, Glumgold was the enemy. I have it right here. Hold on. Gizmo Duck. No, not Gizmo Duck. Launchpad McQuack. Thank you.
There you go.
Who was Gizmo Duck?
Yes. Launchpad McQuack, voiced by Terry McGovern.
There you go.
In the original series and DuckTales Remastered.
And you know what's great? With Disney, once you sign on to play a character, you always are that character.
Really?
In like every version.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So you can't switch.
No, Disney doesn't want you to, because they want to keep the originality.
Well, Disney, aren't you just wonderful?
DuckTales, which in Japan, no, this is not Japanese, this is Chinese. Wanpaku Daku Yumi Boken, which translates to Naughty Duck's Dream Adventures.
That sounds
I wish I could make that up, folks.
That sounds dirty. I'm not letting my kids play that disgusting game.
So, series was developed and published by Capcom, of course, based on the TV show. It was first released in the U.S. on the Nintendo Entertainment System in September of 1989, and on Game Boy, November of 1990. And the Game Boy version was virtually a mirrored version of the NES. Slight tweaks in the gameplay, like in the boards, to accommodate for Game Boy. Both the NES version and the Game Boy version, the most successful selling games for Capcom.
Really?
In fact, better than Mega Man.
Really?
In fact, actually, a lot of people from the Mega Man series worked on DuckTales. The NES version of DuckTales sold 1.67 million copies. The Game Boy version, 1.43 million copies. Wow. Definitely a lot. Yeah, I wasn't expecting. I mean, you would figure.
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised at that, because I thought that is almost a niche genre.
Oh yeah, big time.
You know, you're gonna have fans of the show are gonna be fans of the game. If you're not a fan of the show, you're not gonna most likely play the game unless you're turned on to it. That's amazing.
It was. I mean, it was pretty. I'm trying to find the stupid names. Rippo does so much better with this than I do. I was trying to find the names of the. All right. Anyway,
I'm gonna write down show prep.
I printed all this stuff.
I literally looked at my phone for 30 seconds.
Of course, DuckTales, like I mentioned, one of the best games ever for NES, let alone any system. The remastered version, as we talked about, was released in 2013 on the Xbox 360, PS3, the Wii U. I've even seen it on the app, the newest generation Apple TV. Plays like the original DuckTales, obviously, with just much better graphics. And, of course, if you remember the game, basically, you're just going around the world, finding treasure, earning all that money as Scrooge McDuck. Do you remember the locations that you can visit?
No, it was... Dude, I'm old.
The African mines, the Amazon.
Yes, I do remember the mines. I do remember
the Amazon, the Himalayas, Transylvania, and the moon.
Wow. Yeah, it's starting to come back to me.
You can play them in any order, but you had to go back to the African mines in Transylvania to acquire certain essential items. There were 2 secret hidden items within some of the boards. Once all 5 main treasures, because each board led to a treasure, were collected, then you go back to Transylvania to fight Dracula Duck.
Okay.
And, of course, the Beagle Boys throughout the game are after you. And as you mentioned,
this is for the NES.
NES.
Okay.
The OG, the original version.
Right.
The remastered is on some of the newer models. And then the last 2 villains in the game, as you were mentioning, Flintheart Glomgold. Flintheart Glomgold. Say that 3 times.
Glom?
Yep.
Wow.
Say it 3 times.
And
Magica Dispel.
Yes.
There were 3 different endings.
That I didn't know.
All these
I
games
probably never ended it. That's
have
why.
3 different endings. Like stupid Castlevania 2, which I'm going to get the worst ending, I'll tell you right now, because I also haven't played it in 3 weeks. Basically, you get a regular ending for just clearing the game. You get the great ending for clearing the game with both hidden treasures and at least $10 million. And a bad ending for clearing the game with $0.
It's funny, as you're doing this, I'm looking up, the first picture I just looked at is Scrooge McDuck with the second villain boss, not Glumgold.
You can go in any order. Oh, you meant Magica Dispel?
Magica Dispel. And
yep,
he has over $10 million.
There you go. Someone's getting the best ending.
Wow.
DuckTales was the first licensed game from Capcom that they actually developed. Here they are. So from Mega Man, the producer of Mega Man, Takeru Fujiwara, he worked on DuckTales, character design Kaiji Inafune, and sound programmer Yoshihiro Sakaguchi.
Oh, okay, I knew that.
Some revisions. A lot of games in Japan, when they come over to the U.S., have a lot of changes made to them.
Yes.
For whether it's wording or religious reasons. All the crosses in the Transylvania level on the caskets were removed, replaced with the letters R.I.P.
Okay.
They replaced hamburgers. Instead of hamburgers being power up, it was an ice cream that gave you power. And
wow, anti-American, aren't we?
And they took out an option for Scrooge to lose all of his money, which, and as I quote, was deemed too un-Scrooge-like.
Interesting.
There was a leaked prototype cartridge from a private collector that showed all these bunch of different differences here between the prototype and the final game, including different level names, different music for Transylvania stage. And what I thought would have been great on the Moon stage originally was going to be slower music. I guess to make it feel like you're
floating
on the moon. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I want something about the DuckTales. I'm looking at something. It says DuckTales #1 Kaboom Entertainment System. Now, it's obviously the Nintendo box. It says Kaboom.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, but you were discussing in an earlier episode about the game art on the boxes.
Yes.
The game art on some of the Nintendo boxes, especially these, are horrendous.
Oh, yeah. Especially Capcom games.
But if you think the games progressed, and I guess it's because they had also the pictures on the back of the box.
It is DuckTales.
So that one's a good one. This one, I have to print this up. Kaboom! This DuckTales one, it looks like it's 8-bit.
The Kaboom one looks like an original black box NES.
Yes,
with just a scene of the game.
That's exactly what it looks like, but that's very strange. Okay.
Hey there.
Boom. San Diego Comic-Con. This is picture from.
And also they renamed. I guess this also went for the TV show because originally Gizmo Duck was called Robo Duck. I guess it was.
There was a robot duck.
Yeah, Gizmo Duck.
Right.
Yeah, but originally it was called Robo Duck. I guess like instead of like RoboCop.
Okay.
Robo Duck.
I'm sure there was some sort of.
Then of course DuckTales, like I said, ported to the Game Boy in late 1990, which pretty much was the same version as before.
Yeah, I don't remember. Now was that black and white?
Yeah,
the original Game Boy.
Yeah.
I don't remember the game.
So here's how good this game was. Here's
how
just
good was it?
A list of different well, back then magazines and websites nowadays with the ranking of this game. Here we go. Nintendo Power ranked DuckTales 13th best NES game of all time in 2008. Also ranked it number 44th in the 285 greatest games in 2012, which I believe was in their last issue of Nintendo Power. In 2009, IGN ranked it number 10 in a top 100 NES games. Also in 2009, the official Nintendo magazine, which has nothing to do with Nintendo Power, ranked it 85th in a top 100 NES games. 2013, official Nintendo magazine re-ranked it number 9 of the top 10 NES games, which is weird. Then in 2010, OneUp.com also ranked it number 9 in a top 25 NES games. And in 2012, Game Radar ranked it 12th best NES game of all time. I mean, I don't know what was going on with the official Nintendo magazine in 2009, ranking it 85th. But otherwise, kudos to Disney.
I'm curious what the infatuation is now with the whole duck themed resurgence. The TV show.
Well, this was more. I mean, just DuckTales happens to be part of the group. This is more a resurgence of the
after. In those, both games are in that.
The
new download.
Yeah, and I can't wait to play DuckTales too. But yeah, they just happen to be two with it because that was the lineup. I remember coming home watching the Disney afternoon.
But yet, Howard the Duck gets the snub. All right,
he was in Guardians.
Yeah, well,
because sometimes you just cannot change a true classic. Like like Howard the Duck.
Just, you're right. It's lightning in a bottle.
Howard the Duck.
Cleveland.
I mean, what was Leah Thompson thinking when she read through the script saying...
She was thinking she had to pay rent. She needed to pay rent. And I'm sorry, but that one scene...
When they're in bed?
Yes. My little 12-year-old self loved Leah Thompson. Even Mrs. McFly.
Good gosh. Lorraine, how could you? It's either your father or a mutant duck.
Calvin Klein.
Calvin Klein.
Okay, we're digressing. Now I want to.
One day you're going to be my wife.
Okay, Biff, keep reading. Let's not talk about the sexual assault that went on in that movie, but which I actually just introduced my children to Back to the Future.
See? And Disney passed on Back to the Future.
Well, and I was
because of the incest overtone.
Yes, well, yeah, I actually got from my 7-year-old. Ew, she wants to kiss her son. That's gross. Well, I'm like, yes, it is gross.
It's like
but
kissing
she
a brother.
doesn't know that it's kids. Joey wants a DeLorean now.
The last time I saw a DeLorean was probably when I first moved out here to Long Island.
There's a few DeLoreans
about
out on Long
6
Island.
or 7 years ago.
There's a few out here.
I was afraid to take a picture of it because the guy driving it didn't look like he wanted his picture taken.
Was he Libyan? No offense to Libyans. But literally, anytime I see a Volkswagen van now, honestly, my wife and I just go, Libyans! My kids look at us like we're just weird old people.
All those used pinball machine parts.
Yes. Now, it's funny you brought that up because I was just, you bringing the whole DuckTales thing up made me think of a game. Now, I was big into the PC games on Commodore 64, and here's a game
Commodore 64.
Yes. I don't think this is a game you are aware of, but it was called Donald Duck's Playground. You familiar with that game?
No, not at all.
It was a PC game, and basically there was like 3 mini games. There wasn't really an object of the game. Like you didn't have to, there wasn't a boss. It was basically, there was three parts. There was one where you were Donald, who was a conductor. Donald worked at an airport. He was a luggage handler. Okay, let's just talk about that. And there was another one where Donald had a lot of menial jobs. It was luggage handler. He loaded up. No, I'm sorry, he didn't load up trucks. He emptied fruit trucks into 3.
Is he a day laborer?
He was a day laborer. Into 3 baskets. One marked was a pumpkin, one was an orange, and one was a watermelon. And some mysterious thing would throw from off screen a fruit.
I do not remember that game at all. He's showing me screenshots of the game.
A fruit, which is a watermelon, and he would grab it. Yeah. You'd have to run back and forth, almost like
root beer tapper.
Like Tapper, yeah. Right. Root beer tapper. When I played it, was Tapper.
I played Tapper at Barcade. Actually, I had the Budweiser logo and everything.
And you had to put it in its right.
Yep.
And it got faster, obviously. The one with the trains were going to certain towns. Mm-hmm. Duckburg, Duckville, Duck City, Duck Valley. Not Hill Valley. Ducktropolis. And you would have to press certain switches to move the track so the train would not crash.
Yeah.
In the airport one, mini game, there were someone would throw luggage at you, and you had to put it in. You had to put it in the proper. I'm sorry.
I was trying to fix his mic.
Yeah, we had a little technical difficulty there. In the proper carrier.
Yeah.
So there would be no lost luggage. And again, it got thrown faster at you. So Donald, short end of the stick once again, because everybody loves Mickey and Minnie, and Donald is always the frustrated one. Now I know why. Donald was a day laborer. So
hey, Donald was in the war.
Donald was in the war, and he didn't have pants.
No, he didn't, but he still let him in the war.
Had a problem. Fun fact for those who are parents and you watched the Donald Duck Christmas episode of it's a DVD, mm-hmm. and there's a scene where Donald's having everybody over for Christmas, and the kids wish Huey, Louie, and Dewey wish to repeat Christmas over and over again every day. It's a Groundhog's Day.
Oh
wow! And the thing that disturbs me, because after watching it 1,000 times with my children, I noticed that Donald's whole family comes over, the big heavy set aunt with the big chicken breasts, Scrooge, and a bunch of other people come over to have a turkey dinner. I'll just let that sit in for a second. They have a turkey dinner. They're ducks.
Better than a turducken.
Better than a turducken, but that's kind of cannibalistic.
A little bit.
And and I believe they're also eating eggs, which
that's messed up.
That is even bizarre. But check it out next Christmas and enjoy your Christmas.
Oh. It's an early Christmas here on the Retro Gamers.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you how it ends, but I think the boys learn the true meaning of Christmas.
There you go.
Don't eat your aunt. she's a turkey. Hey, true story. I didn't make it up. That Disney's a sick guy.
We support Disney. So
I know they've gotten a lot of my money. Lots of my money.
Yeah, I forgot to name that. That was this week in What's Old is New Again for the Disney Adventure collection.
I look forward to it.
You know, I don't get it. Anthony's not here to correct me on all this stuff. I need you to crack the whip.
No, I don't crack whips. This is your show, and I'm merely a guest. Thank you for my water.
No
Appreciate
problem.
That.
No,
and,
that's all you get.
That's good. I'm going to walk out with that box of cashews.
Please do, because I'm never going to finish it. They're unsalted cashews. My father was here. He went to grab a handful, and then he looked and he went, unsalted, and he immediately put the top back on and kept walking, which is now why I have a full thing of cashews.
That's okay.
I got to bring it to work.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to correct you. This is your show, and I'm
actually I appreciate it. Anthony appreciates it. You're filling in at very last minute.
I had so much fun the last time. I literally was talking about it to my wife for hours, and the look of I don't give a crap, Frank, on her face was, I was like, you know what? When I reap the benefits of this someday, I go, I'm kicking you to the curb.
You know what that means? Now we got to do it at your house.
Do you really want to do that with two children
Absolutely
running around?
not.
No. You've been to my house when my kids are in rare form. And you walk out of there, and this is my impression of Larry getting into his car, leaving my house. Oh, thank God. Yeah, this reminds me of the time we were stuck on the Bell Parkway with a sick child.
That is the day I decided, and I felt very comfortable with the decision that I will not consciously make an effort to have children.
I cried on the inside that day. Real quick, I'm just on the side because I know we're running late. But we had to go to a birthday party, and mutual friend's son's first birthday party.
Kid's first birthday.
Yes, and we were driving into Brooklyn, and Larry said, get a ride with Frank.
That was my first mistake.
And which was all well. We actually had the room. Were you sitting in the back seat with my two kids?
No, I was in the front.
Who was in the back, Stefan?
I think you what? Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was driving.
Because your son was very young, so I guess.
He was probably, there was definitely room for three back there. And we get to the place, and my daughter gets sick within the first 5 minutes of us walking in. I don't think that my coat even got warm in the coat check. And we literally had to turn around and go home. And poor Larry, who did not really get to eat any of the food because we were his ride, had to come back. And how many times did we stop on the way home?
Oh, a handful.
3, 4,
a handful.
On the side of the Bell Parkway in Brooklyn, New York.
That's when I saw Parenting 101.
With no shoulder, as I literally drove into the weeds, ripped my daughter out of the car from and just sitting here crying on the side of the road. No, I was crying on the side of the road. And Larry just quietly going, no, I'm okay. I'm like, sorry, Larry. No, it's okay.
We traveled from Long Island to Brooklyn for this party. Now, here's my point of view. All right, so this is all happening. I'm like, hey, all right, this happens with children, whatever. I walk in to the venue, literally, and it's like 3 steps down, then you're on the main floor. But anyway, I walk in, I look around. All our other friends are there who have other children, probably ranging between the ages of newborn to like 3 or 4 years old. I just look at the landscape. There are people crying, yelling, throwing things, children running around like mad people. And I literally, at that point, I said to myself, I never want this in my life. And that's when I decided that I am perfectly happy with it. I've spoken to my parents. I've sat them down. They are okay with it as well. And I mean, if it happens, it happens. At this point, I don't think it's going to be happening. But if it happens, it happens. But
sorry,
I am very content in the life that I live right now.
Listen, I do not judge, and I envy you at certain times. At certain times, I don't. I love my children. I love.
Oh, I've never said that at all. Of course, everyone loves their children. And I like their kids, but I get to leave them at your house.
Yes. I know you love your nephews and
my godson loved to the end.
Sorry. And yeah. So, but it's that was a fun day. Not for me.
I will never forget that for as long as I live.
You saw me die a little on the inside that day, didn't you? Let's get back to the gaming. This is another podcast about therapy.
Oh my God! Let's talk about this week in gaming, shall we?
Okay, let's talk about
bring
this
it
weekend,
in.
the week of March
19th.
St. Joseph's Day,
There we go.
and my mom's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yes,
All right.
70 years young.
There you go.
Bought me Pong.
Really?
Pong.
Like a home console system,
A
Pong?
home console system Pong.
They have those at the Retro Gaming Expo
Well,
at the
I will
Cradle of
be going
Aviation.
with you next time.
I hope so.
Relive my youth.
My grandfather's birthday was St. Patty's Day.
We had Atari as well. That was the first two.
Atari was good. So this week in gaming. Now, Anthony likes to talk about a lot of the stuff from Japan because he's been there so many times. So I'm going to stick
Konnichiwa.
with the good old US of A.
Because you are a patriot.
There we go. So March 19th, in 1999, King of Fighters R2 for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Do you remember that thing?
Do you remember the Neo Geo? Yes.
Do you remember the Neo Geo Pocket
That
Color?
I do not remember.
That was a handheld that really
I wasn't
didn't last
big into the handhelds.
No, you too?
No,
I love handheld.
My brother
that whole
had
box down there is all filled with Game Boy games.
My
And a couple of Virtual Boys.
We did have Game Boy. My brother and I shared it. It was his, and I would, by share it, I mean when he wasn't home, I would play with it. And if he ever caught me, I could never beat any of his scores because he would kill me. Like I said, I have a full-size Arkanoid machine in my house,
Yes.
and he has the high score, and I can't beat it, and I hate him for it in my own home. Go ahead, continue.
In 2002, Space Invaders on Game Boy Advance came out.
Yes.
Do you remember this game on Xbox? Also in 02. Gun Valkyrie.
No,
all right, that's all right.
On the original Xbox?
Yeah, OG Xbox, yeah.
I'm going to have to look into that one.
On Windows, on the PC, I think this is to make up for, let's see, this is 2002, and the game probably originally came out in the early 80s. E.T., the Extraterrestrial Interplanetary Mission.
No.
Okay.
No, and I say no because after the original E.T. fiasco, no.
Also in 2002, Command & Conquer Red Strike came out on the PC. And then in 2003, I don't know what came up with this game, WWE Crush Hour for the PS2 and the GameCube.
That's all
It was
you.
basically Twisted Metal, but with WWE.
Cars?
Yeah.
Well, now, were the cars...
Wacky cars.
But I'm saying, like, well, let's say it was the Junkyard Dog car.
They were themed. Like The Rock was
Did
like
the
a
cars
Brahma
look
Bull
like
car.
the actual people?
Kind of sort. Like they didn't look like people, but they had the designs. Like Austin's had like 316 on it. The Rock's had like a Brahma Bull on it.
That's upsetting.
It was horrible. I had
You
it.
bought it.
Of course I did. I will mention some games here from Japan because, you know, there's some... Well, that's where it all started, really. In 1994, Super Metroid for the Super Famicom came out. Great game. In 1998, Final Fantasy V on the PS1 over in Japan. And in 93, Splatterhouse 3 on Genesis. March 20th, here in the U.S. on the PS1, 1996, The Need for Speed.
Love Need for Speed.
Yeah. You ever see the movie?
No, it's in my Netflix queue.
It's supposed to be good. And supposedly, all the stunts in the movie, no CG. No CGI. Everything was done, like, what do you call it? Just, I guess, real.
Stunt men.
I thought it was a term for it. You would know it.
That originally came out on the
PS1. Well, PS1, yeah.
PS1, right? I think I played the PlayStation 2 version of, and
I
have some on the Xbox 360.
Okay. Yeah, there was somebody. That's the first one that came out.
Still play that one on Xbox.
March 20th in 2002, Virtua Fighter 4 for the PS2. Here's one. In 2004, a game called Saboteur on the Atari 2600.
That's when they re-released the 2600. The fun is back. Oh yes, sirree.
2004.
The 2600
Brand new game.
by Atari. Right? Was that 2004?
No, the Atari stopped being made in like the late 80s.
But they remade.
No, the 2600 was stopped being made probably in the early 80s.
Okay.
I think it's a homebrew. Japan had Fantasy Zone arcade game, came out in 86. Diablo, great game. Diablo came out in 1990 in Japan on the Sharp X68000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now they're up to what? Diablo 4? 3?
There was such a long period of time between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. And Diablo 3 on Xbox is amazing. I recommend getting it. And in 1992...
Xbox One.
Also on a 360.
Okay.
On both. And 1992 Final Fight for the Super Famicom.
I remember that. Very good games.
Mm-hmm. March 21st, Front Mission 3 comes out on the PS1 in 2000. The game played kind of like Shining. Remember Shining Force?
Yeah.
It played like Shining Force, just with like mech warriors.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory in 05 on the N-Gage.
Oh.
Do you remember the N-Gage?
No.
It was the cell phone video game system. Remember at first it looked like you were talking into a taco, and then they remade it. It looked a little bit better.
Yes.
But it was like the first dedicated cell phone. Yeah.
Yes.
Here's one.
I didn't know it came out on that first.
I'm not saying first, but it came out on that.
Okay.
Yeah, these aren't necessarily first, just notable dates.
Gotcha.
Here's one that you may like, because I'm going to stereotype you. In 2006, The Godfather came out on the Xbox, the PS2, and Windows.
I own it.
Did you play it?
I do.
Was it a good game?
It was a hard game.
Was it a continuation of the story, or was it just the movie?
You started out as a young soldier on the street. They made references. I didn't end it. They made references to the Corleone family, but it was a lot of these games came out on the heels of Grand Theft Auto. These open world games.
Plays like GTA?
Kind of, yeah. Scarface also was another one that I made it about 10-15% into the game. The Warriors as well, and I never played them again. I still have them. I just never played. I might have returned some.
Trust me, just one day something's going to click and you're just going to stop playing. I'm like this. I always play a ton of games, then I slow down. I play a ton of games. Even old stuff I have. Right. Slow down, ton of games, slow down.
I got to the point where I had so many games that I literally wrote them down and I kept it. No, you're going to laugh, but I literally wrote them down and I said, okay, the next time I sit down in my games, this is the game I have to play because I was neglecting.
Yep,
so I have to I was like rotate. They were on a rotating scale. I had no life back.
March 22nd, 1995. This is a game I've been dying to get my hands on. Shining Force CD for the Sega CD.
It's right up your alley.
Oh, yeah. 1996, 3D Tetris on the Virtual Boy.
Love Tetris. Virtual Boy. You have it?
No. 2004.
You did though, didn't you? Love Tetris.
I may have.
Virtual Boy.
2004. Pokemon Coliseum for the GameCube. In 05, The Matrix Online for the PC.
I don't remember that either.
And,
what year was that?
2005.
Yeah, I wasn't playing games then.
And 2005, the first of an amazing series that I absolutely love on the PlayStation 2, God of War. Games are phenomenal. In fact, I can't wait for the new one to come out on the PS4. All right, March 22nd, The Simpsons Wrestling, one of the worst games ever on the PS1. 2004, Final Fantasy XI Online for the PS2. The game, the reason why they made a hard drive for the PS2.
Interesting.
I played maybe 20 minutes of that game. And I bought it and the hard drive.
Money well spent.
2004 also saw Far Cry for the PC. Good series of games. And in Japan, in 1993, on March 22nd, Kirby's Adventure on the Famicom debuted.
Kirby's Adventure.
March 23rd, 1998, Quake on the N64.
Ah, Quake.
You a big Quake fan?
I played it at a friend's house.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where I was like, one of those
PC
games
or N64?
I don't remember. Okay. But it was one of those games where, I'm sorry, I didn't play it. I watched.
Fair enough.
Was another thing. As the technology got better, you could sit and watch a game. And that was an enjoyment, watching a game, like watching somebody else play. I'm like, this is almost, because the technology was like, not like a movie, but you get my point. Yeah, Quake, I enjoyed the concept of Quake.
In 2000, Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation on Dreamcast.
Great game.
Also in 2000, Street Fighter Alpha, The Warrior's Dreams on Game Boy Color. 03, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker on the GameCube. And here's a fun one. Anthony mentioned it once before. In 2003, Amplitude on the PS2, which is like the precursor to Rock Band and Guitar Hero.
Okay.
Yeah, great game. Over in Japan in 1995, Mega Man 7 on the Super Famicom. And then we jump over to March 24th, 1993, Final Fight on the Sega CD. In 02, Freedom Force on the PC. Do you remember that?
No, I wasn't playing PC games at that time.
It was an online superhero game. You made up your own superheroes and you just battle it out online.
Okay.
The game was awesome.
That's cool.
The Sims in 03 on Xbox and GameCube.
Huge fan of The Sims.
Okay. I'm going to save that one for next time.
Oh, God. I could do that language.
Go for it.
Ooh, you got Warren. It was almost something. And it was almost something that you would expect it to be like an Asian language, because obviously that's where it originated from. But there was one thing you'd always say you got. It sounded like you said you got to Warren, and then obviously they would get upset and they go no. And that's when at the point when they used to get pissed off, I used to lock them in a room and take away the door. Bye bye.
Okay.
I could do a whole episode on Sims.
We're going to. Over in Japan on March 24th in 1988, R-Type on the TurboGrafx 16 and Rygar on the Master System in 1988. I got more days. Hold on.
That's when you should number your paper.
Oh, here we go. All right, I got one more. Here it is.
Throw those out.
I did number them, actually. Here we go. Okay. And then finally, March 25th, 1997, Doom on the Sega Saturn.
I told you my Doom story.
Yes. Talking about 2000. Did you tell it here?
I think so. I was playing Doom for PC, and I was like, why can't I get
the demo. Yeah,
past this part? And I realized after about a year that I was playing the demo.
You were talking about Donald Duck before in 2002.
Yes.
Donald Duck Going Quackers on the GameCube, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the game was awesome.
I never had a GameCube, but I do remember the game.
It was on PS2 as well.
I didn't have it.
Yeah. Fantastic game.
Quackers.
Fantastic game.
I'll look for that this summer yard sale.
March 25th was bigger in Japan. In Japan, 4 games of note. In 1988, Golgo 13, Top Secret Mission on the Famicom, which came out over here.
Okay.
In 1993, Battletoads on the Genesis. I mentioned it earlier, Desert Strike, Return to the Gulf, 1993, the Japanese version for the Super Nintendo.
Probably ended differently.
And I mentioned this one because we talked about it last time for you. In Japan, 1993, Outrun 2019 on the Genesis.
Oh,
I have no idea what game that is.
I don't either. I know of it. I know of the game, but I don't think I've ever played it.
And with that being said, that's the week in gaming.
Good week.
I think it was.
I think so.
It was a very good week. Frank, again, thank you. Very short notice.
Thank you for having me. I was glad I was able to step in and fill the running shoes of Anthony.
Who's passed out right now.
Probably passed out and cramped and in pain. No, I give him credit. I couldn't do a marathon. My goal is to do I
couldn't even do the power pad.
I don't want to do a half marathon. I would like to do like an eighth of a marathon, only if there was like chicken wings at the end.
You ever use the power pad? Remember the power pad back in the day?
No, I don't like moving. I walk 9 miles a day for work, and the last thing I want to do is move.
You know what? I should give you. I have to my Fitbit. I need to work up. No. I just need it so I can get my money back. So I get a rebate.
Oh, so in other words, you use it. You want just to use.
I tried attaching it to the cat, but he had nothing to do with it.
Interesting. Now that you put that on, the airwaves, delete that.
We'll redact that.
Yes. Oh, look at you with your fancy terms.
But yes, again, thank you very much for joining us this week.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to coming back again in the future. Like I said, Sims, I could tell you stories, and it involved a girl as well.
Uh-oh.
That's right, nerds. Girls. I'm a fellow nerd. It's all right. As I could say it. I'm part nerd on my mother's side.
Closest game I got to The Sims was the Playboy Mansion.
No, I don't know that
one. On Xbox, which actually led to one of my best friends finding his wife because of the Playboy game.
The Sims is the expansion packs, the
we'll
summer, was it the spring break?
There were tons. I'll be honest with you, there were other Sims games. I didn't realize you were so into Sims, but with the week in gaming, there was a lot of stuff that came out this week.
Big into Sim City, not like Sim Ant or Sim Farm, but Sim City was big into as well.
Yeah, we're definitely, you know what? If you're into that much, definitely next time you come by, we'll talk about that. Because I remember playing SimCity all the time.
Let me know more than 45 minutes in advance so I could actually do something.
Don't blame me.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not. I think this was a great pod.
It certainly was. And everyone, thank you again for downloading the show. Remember, follow us everywhere at Facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast. And Ant. No, you're not Ant. You're Frank. I'm surprised it took me this long to do that. Anything you'd like to plug?
No.
Okay.
My blog, but I haven't written it in a while. But I'm gonna write. It's messing around at WordPress.com or something like that.
We'll send the link.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm bad at that. So.
And with that,
you could follow me on Twitter at Mess11, I think, or Mess411. It's a picture of a fat guy in a mailman's uniform. You can't miss me.
I'm more 365 everywhere. MOHR 365.
Yeah, I'm friends with Larry, so just if you find him, you could just find the angry mailman picture. That's me.
And with that being said, folks, we're going to catch you next week. Thank you, everyone, and game over.
Game over.